All right, let's talk about the IELTS speaking test. You know that feeling, right? That constant battle in your head. Should I speak super fast to sound fluent, or should I slow way down to make sure every single word is perfect? Well, getting that balance wrong is a huge trap. But if you find the secret, that's how you unlock the score you've been working for. Let's dive in.
So on one side, you've got this person. Maybe it's even you sometimes. They're trying so hard to sound fluent that the words just come pouring out in a big rush. The problem is, their grammar, their clarity, it all gets jumbled up. They sound confident, sure, but it's messy, a little chaotic. And then you have the total opposite. This is the speaker who is absolutely terrified of making a mistake. So every single word is weighed and measured, and you can hear it. They sound hesitant, kind of robotic, and honestly, they sound scared. All that beautiful, natural flow is just gone.
So here's the absolute key. The IELTS examiner isn't looking for the fast talker who makes a mess, and they're not looking for the perfect speaker who's paralyzed with fear. Nope. Your score, it lives in the balance right between these two. If you lean too far one way or the other, you're going to watch your score just slip away.
Okay, so if we're going to find this magic balance, we first have to know what we're talking about. What does IELTS actually mean by fluency and accuracy? Let's forget all the myths and get the real definitions straight.
First up, fluency. The best way to think about fluency is movement. It's your ability to keep the conversation moving forward. It's that smooth, natural rhythm, the way your ideas connect without those long, awkward silences. It is all about flow, keeping the ball rolling.
And on the other side of the coin, you have accuracy. Now, if fluency is movement, then accuracy is all about control. This is your command of the language itself. Are you using the right grammar, the correct tenses? Are your sentences built in a way that's actually clear and easy to follow? That's control.
Now, this is so important. In the IELTS test, these two things are scored separately. You can't just talk really fast to hide your bad grammar, and you can't use a few perfect sentences to make up for the fact that you're pausing all the time. They are two different skills, and one cannot save the other, period.
So, when you don't find that balance, you end up falling into one of two really dangerous traps. Let's break down these two types of speakers. And be honest, see if you recognize yourself in one of them. So on the left, we've got the rusher. This person sounds confident, but they're making a ton of mistakes. It's unstable. Then on the right, you have the thinker. They're so careful, but they sound really hesitant and uncomfortable. To an examiner, both of these are major red flags. And what's the result of being a rusher or a thinker? Well, it's this. You hit a ceiling, a wall. For most people, getting stuck in either of these extremes pretty much guarantees your score is going to top out right around a band 6. Why? Because you're missing the fundamental balance the test is built to measure. Okay, so how do we smash through that band 6 ceiling? How do we get into that sweet, sweet band 7+ zone? It is all about finding that perfect spot right between movement and control.
So what does a high-scoring answer actually sound like? Well, first off, it's not about being super fast. It's about a natural, steady pace. And look at that second point. I mean, really look at it. Minor mistakes are okay. They're totally fine, as long as they don't make you hard to understand. The real goal is just to finish your thoughts and keep the conversation going.
I want you to let this one sink in. Seriously, this might be the most important thing you hear today.
The IELTS speaking test is not a perfection test. It is a communication test. The examiner just wants to know if you can get your ideas across clearly, not if you can speak like some flawless robot.
This brings us to the number one practical question I get from students. If I'm talking and I know I just made a mistake, should I stop and fix it? I mean, it feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? But is it?
The answer is a hard no. Absolutely not. The second you stop to correct yourself, 3 bad things happen. 1, you kill your fluency. 2, you tell the examiner, hey, I'm nervous. And 3, you put a giant flashing spotlight on the mistake you just made. So unless you said something that completely changes the meaning, your best bet is always to just keep moving forward.
Now, getting this balance right in the middle of a test. Well, that requires a change in how you think. It's about changing that little voice inside your head while you're speaking.
So instead of that little voice asking, is this sentence perfect, you need to train it to ask, is this sentence clear? And instead of searching for that amazing high-level vocabulary word, ask yourself, what's a good, safe word that I know how to use correctly? Believe me, control will beat complexity every single time.
And you know, this balance isn't exactly the same for the whole test. It actually shifts a little bit. In part 1, with those short, simple questions, you can lean a little more towards accuracy. In part 2, where you have to talk for 2 minutes straight, fluency is king. You just cannot freeze up. And then in part 3, you bring it all together for that perfect, balanced performance. Okay, all this theory is great, but you're not going to get better by just thinking about it. You have to practice. So how do you actually train yourself to find this balance? Let me show you a really simple but really powerful method.
Here's the golden rule for practicing. Speak first, fix later. What does that mean? It means when you practice, your one and only job is to speak. Let it flow. Don't stop. Don't correct yourself. Just talk. Then, after you're done, you can go back, listen to your recording, and work on fixing the accuracy mistakes. You have to separate the two jobs.
And while you're practicing, let's just bust a few last-minute myths, okay? First, fast does not equal fluent. Calm flow is what equals fluent. Second, you don't need 0 mistakes for a high band score, you just need to show that you have control. And third, using simple grammar correctly is always better than trying to use advanced grammar and getting it wrong. Once you really, truly get this idea that it's about balance, not perfection, everything starts to change. The fear starts to go away, your speaking gets smoother, and that confidence you're trying to show the examiner, it stops being an act, and it just becomes natural. This is when the test starts to feel manageable.
When you boil it all down, it's really this. Fluency is courage. It's the courage to put your ideas out there and just keep going. And accuracy, that's discipline. It's the discipline to control your language so that your ideas are clear. And to get a great score, you absolutely need both. In the end, the highest scores don't go to the fastest speaker or the most perfect speaker. They go to the smartest speaker, the one who has that intuition, who knows when it's time to push and use complex language, and when it's time to play it safe, to stay clear and keep the conversation flowing. So the only question left is, which speaker are you going to be?